You walk into a room and immediately notice the tension between two people that no one else seems to see. You pick up on micro expressions, changes in tone, the way someone's shoulders shift when they're uncomfortable. Everyone calls you too sensitive, dramatic, or tells you you're reading too much into things. But what if I told you that you're not too sensitive at all? You're hypervigilant, and there's a profound difference. Hypervigilance isn't a flaw. It's your nervous system's sophisticated survival mechanism that developed when you needed it most. When you were small, your safety depended on reading the room perfectly. You learned to scan for danger in facial expressions, voice tones, and body language. You became an expert at detecting the smallest shifts in mood because missing them could mean emotional or physical harm. Your brain developed superhuman pattern recognition not because you're too much, but because you had to be. The child who learned to notice when dad's footsteps sounded angry, the one who could predict mom's mood from the way she closed cabinets, the child who became fluent in reading unspoken tension because their emotional and sometimes physical safety depended on it. That child didn't disappear. They evolved into an adult with extraordinary perceptual abilities. You notice things others miss because your brain was trained to notice everything. You feel deeply because shallow processing wasn't safe. When someone says you're too sensitive, they're actually describing your finely tuned nervous system that kept you alive. But here's what happens. This protective mechanism that served you as a child can feel overwhelming as an adult. You walk into spaces and immediately absorb everyone's emotional state. You notice every microaggression, every subtle rejection, every unspoken conflict. It's exhausting because you're processing information that most people's brains filter out. You're not broken. You're not too much. Your system is working exactly as it was designed to work. The difference is that now you're safe, but your nervous system hasn't gotten the memo. Understanding hypervigilance changes everything because it reframes your experience from pathology to adaptation. From "what's wrong with me?" to "look what I survived, look what I developed." Your ability to read people isn't a curse, it's a superpower that came at a cost. The goal isn't to turn off your perceptual abilities. It's to learn when they're truly needed and when you can allow yourself to rest. It's about recognizing that the system that protected you then can now be consciously directed. You can choose when to engage your full scanning mode and when to trust that you're safe enough to simply be. Some environments will always feel overwhelming because you process so much more information than others. That's not your fault. That's your brilliantly adapted nervous system doing its job. The people who tell you you're too sensitive often can't see what you see. They're not hypervigilant, so they miss the subtleties. Your depth of perception isn't too much. It's a different way of being in the world. Learning to honor your hypervigilance while also creating spaces of safety where you can rest is the real work. It's about understanding that your nervous system developed extraordinary capabilities for extraordinary circumstances. Now, you get to decide how to use those capabilities in ordinary moments. You're not too sensitive. You're precisely as sensitive as you needed to be to survive. And that sensitivity, that noticing, that depth of perception, it's not something to fix. It's something to understand, honor, and consciously direct. Your hypervigilance is proof of your resilience, not evidence of your fragility. The child who had to notice everything grew up into an adult who sees everything. That's not a problem to solve. That's a superpower to understand. From a clinical standpoint, hypervigilance represents one of the most sophisticated adaptive responses the human nervous system can develop. This heightened state of awareness typically emerges in childhood as a protective mechanism when the environment presents unpredictable threats or emotional instability. The individual's nervous system learns to constantly scan for potential danger cues, developing what researchers call enhanced threat detection capabilities. What's particularly fascinating is how this mechanism involves both conscious and unconscious processing. The hypervigilant person's brain becomes exceptionally skilled at pattern recognition, often detecting subtle changes in facial expressions, vocal tones, and environmental cues that others completely miss. This isn't pathological oversensitivity. It's adaptive intelligence that developed under specific survival conditions. However, when these individuals transition to safer environments, their nervous system may continue operating in this heightened state, leading to what clinicians observe as chronic overstimulation and emotional exhaustion. The therapeutic approach isn't to eliminate these capabilities, but rather to help individuals develop conscious control over when to engage their heightened awareness and when it's safe to rest. This represents a shift from viewing hypervigilance as a disorder to understanding it as an evolved capacity that requires skillful management in adult life.